Hi, welcome to Rejola's Slice of Business Wisdom. How many times should you follow up to close a sale with a customer? Hi, my name is Thomas and I am from Rejola IT Services. We help business organizations make more profits through customized business software solutions. Sales provides cash flow to an organization, and it is like a bloodline to an organization. No matter what amount of marketing you do or what amount of follow-up you do, what matters most is how much of closing you have done. And the key in closing is the right follow-up. So let me share 4 ideas with you today in the right way of following up and closing the sales with customers. Well, the first one is that you follow up forever. Usually what happens is when the sales team follows up with their customers, they give up following up after 3 or 4 times or maybe 5 or 6 times, thinking that probably the customer is getting irritated or probably the customer does not want this product or service, and they just assume and then they just stop following up. And then later on, after probably a few months or years, they find out that the customer had actually purchased after some time from another person, from another competition. So what was happening during that time? Customer might delay their decision to purchase. There could be many reasons. It could be their budget reasons, or it could be because they are prioritizing on something else. But that does not mean that they do not require the product or service for which they have inquired with you. So always follow up and follow up continuously. Well, you need not irritate your customer. You can probably follow up once in a month, or if not every single day, or even maybe once in a quarter. Just drop by or maybe make a phone call and inquire about them and find out what's happening in their organization, and also then ask what's happening about the requirement. Follow up forever. The second important aspect about follow up or closing a sale is to have a CRM software, a customer relationship management software. Now, a CRM software helps in 2 ways. One, it helps you to remember when you are supposed to call the customer the next time, because you record the particular date and then it reminds you. And second is, it helps you to recollect whatever you spoke to the customer in the past. So let us say you've been following up with the customer for a very large order for more than 6 months. Now, if you do not recollect every single conversation with that customer in the past 6 months, when you speak to the customer in the 6th month, you will not be able to relate with the customer. Now, if it is just 1 or 2 customers that you are handling, or if you are a key accounts manager, then probably you may not face much of a challenge. But if you are handling hundreds of customers, or if you are handling thousands of customers, it is quite impractical for our brain to remember every single conversation that you've had with the customer. A CRM software helps you to record all these conversations, and it helps you to recollect them in one instance, so that you can, when you call the customer the next time, you can relate to these conversations and then take your conversations from there. So it will help to connect with your customer better, and it will help you to build credibility with the customer, and then your customer really understands that you're genuinely interested about them, and it is not just a manual or a robotic kind of a call that you're trying to make. So a CRM software helps. The third way in which you can increase your closing, or you can improve your follow-up, is by having a mailing list of all your customers, and by sending them important information either about the product or service, or probably about the industry, or maybe even about them. Some ideas on by which probably they can improve their business, something that interests them. What will happen when you have a mailing list and when you shoot out mails, maybe once in a month, not too frequently, of course. If you send it too frequently, then it will be treated as a spam. So once in a month or maybe once in a week, when you start sending such emails, your brand is kept in the mind of the customer on top. There is continuous recollection of your brand and of you by the customer. And what happens because of this is, even if you have not called the customer, let's say for the last 2 weeks, and the customer has then decided probably to close the order at that time, It could be your mailing list that may keep your brand or your company or you in their mind, and they may even decide to call you and say, okay, now we've decided to close the sale, can you send us the final offer, or probably can you come down to meet us to make a final presentation. A mailing list will help you to remain in the customer's mind regularly. The fourth way in which you can have a better closing or improve your follow-up is by keeping all your social media channels active. Now, first of all, I hope you have all the social media channels, a page on all the social media channels, because it is free. And as a business owner, having pages on the social media is probably the cheapest way or a free way in which you can reach the whole world if you do it the right way. It is extremely important that you keep all your social media pages active. You can post about the various developments in your product or service, or probably some testimonial from your customer, or probably about the industry, or maybe even put some greetings for some special occasions or special events. By keeping your social media pages active, it is again another alternative to a mailing list, which is not, in any nature spamming or highly intrusive. It is completely passive, but at the same time active, that people can come on at any time they want to, or maybe you tag yourself in your official pages, and then they see that okay, there's been some development. And when you do this, and the marvelous thing about social media is that you can do it how many ever times you want. Unlike mailing lists, if you start doing it every single day, probably people will think it's a spam, until unless they're really connected to that mailing list and it's quite important for them in their lives. Otherwise, mailing lists can become a spam. Whereas in social media, the beauty is you can do it every single day and it's not a spam. And let us say your customer is entering the social media once in a week. Maybe he's a highly systematic customer, or she's a highly systematic customer, and they don't check the social media quite often. Even if they do once in a week, with all the posts that you have done, all the information that you have shared, imagine the kind of mind share that you're creating with your customer. So it's quite important to keep all your social media channels active. And by doing these 4 ways of correctly following up and closing your sales, you can increase your conversion, your sales conversion, probably by more than 50%. Try these 4 methods and grow your business. Visit rejola.com today and book a free software consultation session for your business. Thank you.
Think profits. Think Rejola.